Now, a new migraine drug called Atogepant will only be prescribed to a maximum of 170,000 Brits.
Yeah, well, that's why. It means that about 11 million UK sufferers who get debilitating migraines several times a week just won't be able to access the treatment.
Well, experts and doctors are urging people to explore alternative approaches to managing their condition.
Yeah, but it begs the question, what's the point in launching a new drug if most people can't get hold of it?
Well, joining us now is Chief Scientific Officer at MigraSoothe, Dr. Peter Chadha. Good to see you this morning, Doctor. Well, that's the key question, isn't it? What's the point in launching this new drug if people can't access it?
Well, the reason, this drug is designed as kind of the third or the fourth line treatment. Right. So you'll go to your doctor, they'll give you one thing, you'll go to your neurologist, they'll give you another thing. Because it's a new drug and it's very expensive, it's about £500 a month.
Oh.
And you can imagine this is really for people who've got chronic migraine and they have to have at least 15 days a month before the NHS will be prescribing it.
Right.
So it's designed as sort of the third line of defence.
Right.
But there are many alternatives. You don't actually have to do that. You can actually look at supplementation to try and stop the migraines happening in the first place. And also, Atogepant isn't really a remedy. It's not going to stop migraines. It's just going to reduce your migraines. Just like all of the therapies, even vitamins do the same thing. They don't stop it. They're not a cure. But you can radically reduce the number of migraines you get.
Are we seeing more people suffering with migraines?
Lots more.
Because, well, do we know why that is? Because do we even know what causes them in the first place with some people?
Well, we think that there are... basically, if you look at the vitamin, which is vitamin B2, it gives energy. So there are probably constraints in your energy production. You're not converting your food or carbohydrates into enough energy in certain parts of the brain cell. And you get a certain point where there's a restriction, then that's not just a headache, it's debilitating, it's stopping your eyes from working, your hearing, you might get all sorts of weird and wonderful effects. So that's when it becomes a critical thing. Now, why are we getting more? I think we're getting loads of chronic diseases. And I think we're getting chronic diseases because of ultra-processed foods. Because the lack of nutrients in our food, and I think because we use antibiotics, we're cleaner than ever we've been, we've got antivirals going on. So all these things, are not what a human being of 500 years or 200 years ago, even in Victorian times, would be full of filth.
Yeah, we're too clean, are we?
We are too clean. And also, at the same time, we don't get enough vitamin D because we're not out there and because we're totally covered. And even if you've got glass and you've got sunlight, you don't really get vitamin D. You actually have to be outside to get that vitamin D. And vitamin D is activating your immune system. So we have a few different things all building up. But the idea of ultra-processed foods is, when we start interfering and we have everything that we microwave, we've got pre-processed, just imagine most apples in this country are probably a year old, because they've gone to storage, they've been put in an atmosphere where they're stored. So you do think there must be some effect on that fruit. And then, if you look at what's happened to fruit and vegetables since the 1980s, they've all been designed so they don't go off. So that means they're never ripe, they never smell. And that also means that they've got less vitamin B, less vitamin C, all of the vitamins you could want are much less than they've ever been. So these are the reason why we're getting loads of chronic problems. Like, they don't kill you. Migraines don't kill you, but they stop you from functioning.
They're debilitating, though, aren't they? If anyone that does suffers, especially if you suffer badly with them, you can't get out of bed.
Well, that's the difference between a normal headache and a migraine. A migraine will just really stop you from doing anything. Your main function.
What I don't understand then, because obviously there's been various medications over the counter and prescription that have been around for years, and now this new one. But if one of the key solutions can be supplements, in effect, that you can just buy or order or buy over the counter, then why hasn't that been explored in the past? You would have thought that had been a first option.
It has. It's just people don't know about it. So the National Institute of Clinical Excellence, called NICE, they're the people who authorise the drugs that the NHS can use. They've said that vitamin B2 in high dose, since 2012 they've had it on a paper, but most GPs are not aware of it because there's no one funding that. You know, GPs get awareness because a big drug company will say to them, come and have a look at our new treatment. And in fact, they forget about the old treatments because the new treatments look better.
So what have you got in front of you now?
So this is a product that I've been responsible for creating called MigraSoothe. And this has 400 times the normal dose of vitamin B2. And riboflavin, which is B2, you know, when you buy your Rice Krispies, they'll fortify it with riboflavin. This is what's in there. But you can't actually get that amount in normal food. It's actually very, very difficult. So even if, for example, you had a bowl of nuts or you had some asparagus, you'd literally have to have kilos of it because there isn't enough. Because this contains...
But is it dangerous to eat that? But don't you just wee it out? Or...
You wee it out every day. So the real... I mean, that's the colour of it. So the real side effect that people will find is that their wee goes luminescent yellow. But that wee going luminescent yellow is because vitamin B2 gets flushed out of the system. But what it does, how does it stop the migraine is the question. So in all of our cells, we've got these little, if you like, the batteries called mitochondria. They're the things that make energy. If you remember your high school science.
It's all coming back to me now, yeah.
Thousands of these little Duracell things which are converting. So by flooding your body with vitamin B2, the mitochondria are being activated. That stops the migraine from happening in the first place. So you remember when I told you migraines, there are all sorts of reasons potentially because there are actually 100 different migraines as well. So when that energy is produced, and you've got to take it for a few months, by the way, it's not something that's going to work straight away. Some people get effect in a week, but most people, the NHS document says you've got to use it for 3 months. Oh. But if it's only 30 pence a day, it's not...
It's a lot more affordable, isn't it?
It's a lot more. But then the other thing is people say, well, I just came into the building here and the guy said, well, I take a multivitamin every day. Yes, you can take a multivitamin every day, but that contains 0.7 milligrams of riboflavin. This is 400 milligrams. So a lot of the therapies do not happen when you've got tiny amounts of them.
Right.
That kind of gives you the background.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
It is.
Actually. And if you can do stuff which is more natural than proper medication.
If you've got chapped lips, that's a sign that your vitamin B2 is low.
Oh, really?
That's it. If you take this, your chapped lips will go. It's actually very good for cataracts. It's very good for skin. Because don't forget, we're just energising our body. And also, by the way, women are more badly affected with migraines. And that's why migraines were always underdiagnosed. And especially around menopause, that's another trigger. So hormonal things affect women as well for the migraine.
Well, I might pop one of those, and I won't get any migraines, and I'll have very kissable lips.
Oh, well, your husband will be pleased.
Very popular when I get home.
Yes.
Dr. Chadha, really good to see you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. Now, do stay with us. Still to come, we've got all the latest sports with Paul Coit. That's next.